X and Y are the partners in a firm sharing profits in the ratio of 3:2. They admitted Z as a partner and fixed new profit sharing ratio as 3:2:1. So this is their new ratio. At the time of admission of Z, debtors and provision for doubtful debts existed at 50,000 and 5,000 respectively. All the debtors are good. Past necessary journal entry. Now see, in this case, the debtors have become good. It means now there is no provision. Okay. And when the provision gets cancelled, what happened? Yes. Now see, this is my revaluation account, suppose. And if the debtors have become good, it means they will appear on this side. All right. Because the value of my asset is increasing. And if it will appear on this side, what will be my journal entry? My journal entry will be provision for doubtful debts account debited to revaluation. Okay. Now because, see, this is revaluation account. Now because we don't have anything here on the debit side, so we are earning a profit, and profit is always distributed among the partners. So we'll write down name of the partners here. All right. And my entry will become revaluation account debited to excess capital to wise capital. Any doubt? And the profit will be distributed in the ratio of 3:2. Okay. Old ratio. Yes. Any doubt in this question? Yes, children? Any
No,
doubt?
ma'am.
All right. Now the next is 49th question. X and Y are partners in a firm sharing profits in the ratio of 3:2. They admitted Z as a partner for 1/4 share. At the time of the admission of Z, stock book value rupees 1 lakh is to be reduced by 40%. So it means one of our asset is coming down. And furniture with book value of 60,000 is to be reduced to 40%. So furniture is also reducing. So this is also coming down. Past necessary journal entries. Children, this is my revaluation. And if my asset falls down, where does it appear? Exactly. Both the assets will go on the debit side here. All right. And this is my revaluation account. So if it is my revaluation account, what will be my journal entry for both the items? It will be revaluation account debited to stock, revaluation account debited to furniture. All right. With their reduced value. So 40,000 will go in stock and 40% furniture has been reduced. 6 into 4 is 24. 4 into 6 is 24. But here it is written reduced to 40%. Reduced to 40% means this much has been reduced. Children, buy and to matters a lot. In case of buy, whatever will be 40% of 1 lakh, that will be the reduced value. But in case of two, whatever will be 40%, now the book value, now the value of furniture has become that much. It means the difference will be reduced value. Again, I repeat, there is too much gap in between buy word and to word. If buy is written, it means whatever will be 40% of 1 lakh, that will be considered as reduced value. But in case of 2, TO2, it means now the value of furniture has become 40% of 60,000. It means 24,000. So minus 24,000 from 60,000, 36,000 will be the reduced value of furniture. And our entry will be, because both will appear on the debit side when asset comes down. So our entry will become revaluation account debited to stock and to furniture with the respective value, reduced value. Okay. Now, because nothing we have on this side, we don't have anything on this side exactly. When we get balance on credit side, that is always at loss. And who will bear the loss? Exactly X and Y, not Z. New partner never bears, okay, or never gains on the basis of devaluation. All right. So now the entry will become X account debited, Y account debited to revaluation, and the loss of 76,000, okay, will be borne by X and Y in the ratio of 3:2. Any doubt in this question? Yes. Any doubt, children, in this question? No?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Now the next one. Here it is. X and Y are the partners in a firm sharing profits in the ratio of 3:2. They admitted Z as a partner for 1/4 share of profit. At the time of admission of Z, sundry debtors and provision for doubtful debts existed at 76,000 and 8,000 respectively. Rupees 6,000 of the debtors have been proved bad. Okay. A provision of 5% is to be created on the debtors for provision for doubtful debts. Past necessary journal entries. Children, if you remember in +1 when we did financial statements with adjustments, bad debts and provision for doubtful debts both reduce the value of debtors. But first of all, we deduct bad debts and then we go for provision for doubtful debts. All right. Now see. So first of all, when the bad debts will put effect on debtors, the value of debtors will come down. And exactly when asset comes down, the value of asset comes down, asset is always credited. Our entry will become bad debt account debited to sundry debtors. Bad debt is at loss. Loss is always debited according to nominal rule. So our entry is bad debt account debited to sundry debtors 6,000 and 6,000. After reducing bad debt, now the turn is of provision for doubtful debts. But children, you don't have to forget that earlier also there was provision of 8,000. Okay, because bad debts first of all reduce the value of put effect on sundry debtors and the bad debts were of 6,000. So first of all we'll cancel out provision, okay, with the amount of bad debt. Here we debited bad debt, here it will be credited and the bad debt will be cancelled out and provision will be reduced by 6,000. Is it clear? Now it will be provision for bad debts account debited to bad debts with 6,000. We have adjusted bad debts from the provision. Is it clear now? Now we have to find out the actual amount of debtors actually, okay, or the provision for doubtful debts, that what is the entire effect on debtors. Now see, our total amount of debtors were 76,000. As I told you, first of all, we always deduct bad debts. So bad debts are 6,000. We have reduced. After deducting bad debts, 70,000 was left with us. Now we will apply the percentage of provision on it. In +1 also we were doing like that. Okay. So 70,000 into 5 upon 100, it will be 3,500. Now, after that, according to second entry, we have adjusted bad debts from the already existing provision for doubtful debts, and these were of 8,000. So 8,000 minus 6,000 is 2,000, and the balancing figure is 1,500, which will be the value of provision for doubtful debts. So 1,500, because it is increasing our value, provision, the value of provision is increasing. So it will fall on the debit side of revaluation and our entry will become revaluation account debited to provision for doubtful debts. And because now nothing we have on the credit side, okay, so that will be considered as loss. And who will bear the loss? Exactly X and Y. And our entry will become X's capital account debited, Y's capital account debited to revaluation, and 1,500 will be distributed in their old ratio, which is 3:2. Children, in order to revise the concept of debtors, provision for doubtful debts and bad debts, this question is fabulous. So please put double star on this question. Okay, put double star. 53rd question. X and Y were partners in a firm sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 2:1. This is their old ratio. Z was admitted for 1/3 share of profit. Okay. On the date of Z's admission, balance sheet of X and Y showed general reserve of rupees 2,50,000. Where does it appear? Exactly on the liabilities side. And all type of reserves are our accumulated profits and reserves. So we'll get exactly, special treatment. They will be distributed among the partners in old profit sharing ratio. All right. And the same we will do with general reserve here. And a credit balance of rupees 50,000 of P&L account. Now P&L account credit balance also appears on the liabilities side of balance sheet. Past necessary journal entries on the treatment of these items on Z's admission. Now children, because these are accumulated profits and losses, who earned these two accumulated profits and reserves? Exactly X and Y. And Z, there were no efforts of Z in this. Okay. Now this is my balance sheet, you just assume. And as I told you, these items appear on the debit side. So first of all, general reserve will fall over here. And then profit and loss credit balance will also fall over here. Okay, just wait for a minute. I'll let you know. Because you don't have to cram anything actually. You have to understand. So see, general reserve, okay, and then P&L. Beta, these both of these items are appearing on the liability side of balance sheet. When I taught you about these two or accumulated profits in the chapter of change in profit sharing ratio, I told you since these are our liabilities, will be distributed among the partners, and in order to cancel out the liabilities, these will be debited. So our entry will become general reserve account debited, profit and loss account debited to excess capital to wise capital, and the total amount 3 lakh rupees will go in their profit sharing ratio. Is it clear now? Yes. Children, is it clear? Yes. Beta, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now the next is X and Y are partners in a firm sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2. On 1st April 2020, they admit Z as a partner for 1/5 share in profits. On the date of that balance sheet, or on the date of the admission, there was a balance of 1,50,000 in general reserve and debit balance of 20,000 in P&L account of the firm. Past necessary journal entries regarding adjustment of reserve and accumulated profit and loss. Now, in this case, the scenario is entirely different, okay? Because if this is my balance sheet, all right, just wait, then general reserve appears on the debit side of it. I'm sorry, I'm unable to do. General reserve appears on the debit side of, on the liability side of the balance sheet, and P&L debit balance falls on the asset side of balance sheet. It means one item we are debiting, another item we are crediting in balance sheet. So accordingly, we'll pass journal entry. Whatever item we are debiting in the balance sheet will be debited itself in your journal entry as well. So for general reserve, your entry will be general reserve account debited to excess capital to wise capital, and the amount of 1,50,000 will be distributed among X and Y in the ratio of 3:2. Now let us proceed towards P&L debit balance. P&L debit balance always fall on asset side of balance sheet, which is the credit side of balance sheet, will be credited in journal entry also. Now our entry will become excess capital account debited, wise capital account debited to P&L account, and 20,000 will be distributed in the ratio of 3:2. Okay. Now the next question, 55th. X, Y, and Z are the partners sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 5:3:2. They admitted W as a partner for 1/6 share. Following is the extract of balance sheet on that date. We can see that in the balance sheet, these three are appearing on the liability side, and all three are accumulated reserves and profits. Advertisement suspense. This is also one of our special items which will go in old ratio and appearing on the asset side. If we have to pass journal entries, we can pass compound entry for these three items. My entry will be general reserve account debited, contingency reserve account debited, P&L account debited to excess capital, to wise capital, to Z's capital, and sum of all three amounts will go in 5:3:2. Okay. Now, if I will pass journal entry for advertisement suspense because it is on the credit side of balance sheet, will be credited. My entry will become excess capital account debited, wise capital account debited, Z's capital account debited to advertisement suspense, and 24,000 will be distributed in the ratio of 5:3:2. All right. Now case B. Give journal entry to distribute WCR of rupees 72,000 at the time of admission of Z when there is no claim against it. The firm has two partners, X and Y. All right. Children, I taught you about this, that claim always disturb WCR, but here we don't have any claim. It means the entire amount of WCR will be distributed among X and Y in their old profit sharing ratio. And if the question is silent about ratio, it means it will be distributed equally among them. All right. Now let us pass journal entry for WCR. It will be WCR account debited to excess capital to wise capital, and 72,000 will be distributed in equal ratio among them. All right. Because the question is silent. Now the next. Give journal entry to distribute WCR 72,000 at the time of admission of Z when there is a claim of 48,000 against it. The firm has again two partners. Claim always disturb WCR. It means entire amount of WCR will not be distributed. We will deduct 48,000 from 72,000, whatever will be left. that will be distributed among X and Y in their old profit sharing ratio. This is case number 3. You can see here, yes, here it is. WCR account debited to WCR claim, this one, case 2. To WCR claim was of 48,000, claim is always credited. I taught you earlier also. WCR will always be debited. So we have written 72,000 against WCR. We have written 48,000 against the claim. One amount is debiting, another is crediting. Automatically, it is going to deduct from there. Okay. Now, the balancing 24,000 rupees will be distributed among X and Y in their old ratio, which is equal because the question is silent. All right. Now, the next case. Give the journal entry to distribute IFR 24,000 IFR. The name is Investment Fluctuation Reserve. This will always get disturbed if the market value of investment comes down. Now, let us see what is an effect. Market value is 1,10,000 and the existing value is 120. See, it is coming down. This loss of 10,000 we will cover up from 24,000. It means entire 24,000 will not be distributed. Out of this, 10,000 will be recovered and 14,000 will be distributed among X and Y in their equal ratio. And here it is, the journal entry. IFR account debited because reserves are always debited. Investment, which is a loss, will always be credited. So we have written 10,000 this side. Now deduct 10,000 from 24,000, rest is 14,000 which will be distributed among X and Y in their equal ratio. All right. Now the next case. Give journal entry to distribute general reserve 4,800 at the time of admission of Z when 20% of general reserve is to be transferred to IFR. First of all, 20% of this we will transfer to general reserve, and then the rest of the amount will be distributed among X and Y in their equal ratio. Our entry will become general reserve account debited to IFR, to excess capital, to Y's capital, 20% of 4,800. Okay, you transfer in IFR, minus from there whatever will be left, that will be distributed equally among X and Y. Now the last, this part is very, 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 very important. Please children, put triple star on this F part. Very, very important. Okay, A, B, and C are partners in a firm sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 6 ratio 3 ratio 1. This is their own ratio. They take B into the partnership with effect from 1st April 2020. The new profit sharing ratio is 3 ratio 3 ratio 3 ratio 1. All right. They also decide to record the effect of the following without affecting their book values and bypassing adjustment entry. Children, I always tell you, if it is written in question that we have to pass adjustment entry, adjustment means we have to adjust these accumulated profits and losses. We do not have to distribute, and if these will be adjusted, in that case, first of all, we have to go for old ratio minus new ratio. Whatever will be the effect, single effect of all these items will be adjusted in that proportion. Okay, single effect. Here it is written adjustment entry, not adjustment entries. Entry. All right. And then we have to give effect through partners' current accounts, not capital accounts. So this is another factor which we have to keep in mind. Now, because general reserve falls on the debit side of balance sheet, contingency reserve, it also falls on the debit side of balance sheet. P&L credit balance, this also goes on the debit side of balance sheet. But advertisement suspense, it comes on the credit side of balance sheet. It means the first three items are of same nature and the last one is not of same nature. All right. So we will add on 150 plus 60 plus 90. But 120 we will subtract from the sum of first three items. So here it is, the effect. First of all, we have done old minus new. We have come to know that A is sacrificing. There is neutral effect on B and C is gaining. C, we have done. First three items we have added. The fourth one we are subtracting because it is of opposite nature. This was the only item which was appearing on the credit side of balance sheet, opposite nature. We are subtracting here. This is our net effect. 1,80,000, the single adjusted amount. Okay. Now 1,80,000 into 3 upon 10. A will be a 1,80,000 into 2 upon 10. C will get. And this time D is also there, who is our new partner, and new partner always gain. Our entry will be gaining partner's capital account debited to sacrificing partner's capital account. First of all, old partner C is gaining, and it was written in question that the effect will be on current account. So we'll write on C's current account debited. Now D, who was a new partner, is also gaining because new partner always gains. So D's current account debited to A's current. Is it clear now? Share of D was 1 upon 10. So 1,80,000 into 1 upon 10, 18,000. D will give C's current account, 1,80,000 into 2 upon 10, because this was his gain. 36,000 he will give to A, because A was the only sacrificing partner. All right.